yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Come on, sucker. Let's get it on.
See, no one has balls. No one has the balls to say the real deal.
Black word today.
Yes, y'all is the one and only. Get up.
You are poor.
Hello, everybody.
Black word today.
All right, folks, how you doing? My name is Tim Black. Welcome to Black Word Today. I'm glad you could be here today to talk about some very important issues. I want everybody to know that I just came back from Portland, Oregon a couple days ago, still getting my bearings back, but we have to definitely do a broadcast today. It would be negligence on my part if not, because we have to have a conversation about Donald Trump's State of the Union address, because I notice a lot of people are using talking points from Donald Trump's address. And it's particularly the comments about black folks' unemployment, the unemployment rate of black folks. And I noticed even people who were calling themselves liberal or progressive or whatever label they wanted to choose are basically going off Fox News talking points. And I don't know if they really want to have a conversation about black unemployment, but we need to have that conversation and how it shapes around Trump. Not only Trump, but the country as a whole. And this, I want to make this clear, this is not just about Donald Trump. This is about America. It's not just about one presidency. A lot of these problems I'm about to address have to do with things that have been going on since Clinton, at least. So that's through Obama, through Obama to present day. But what we cannot do is say, oh, well, since it was this way under Obama, what do you expect Trump to do? We only have one president at a time in this country. So I think it's only fair that we, just as I went in on Obama for the same things that I'm about to address now, I want to table them as well under the Trump presidency. That's not called hate. That's called information. Just one last point. One of the great things about this channel that you're watching, not only the fact that you watch it, because I appreciate the hell out of you, but it's that we have a diverse audience. And some of the things that we're about to address need to be known countrywide, not just to black folks, but it's important that we know them, but so that everyone will know what's going on, because the biggest problem we have in this country is people don't know what the hell is going on, and they think they know what's going on because they watch a certain commentator or a certain news channel, and they get a half of a story, or they get a soundbite, and now they have talking points for the rest of their lives, running around talking, and the data does not back it up. So, with that, guys, let's go here. Well, let's try to go there. Oh, here we go. All right. So Donald Trump gave his State of the Union, his first State of the Union, and there was some applause moments in there. Applause moments that people clapped. They liked hearing it. They liked hearing what Trump said about the lowest unemployment rate in the black community ever. And yeah, they talked about that. So let's deduce that just a little bit. Let's look at the first thing. Let's look here. Let's go to the unemployment gap. Let's talk about this. All right. Immigration. Am I missing something here? I hope not. Let me try to get this straight. Okay. Bear with me, guys. I'm trying to get to this one clip. For some reason, I do not have it loaded up here, I don't think. So we're going to talk about slashes to education, student loan, retirement savings, home ownership. Well, daggone it. Well, I guess we got to go get it, don't we? Here we go. Let's just go with this. Okay. The racial unemployment gap remains wide. Yes, it may be true that at 6.8% unemployment is the lowest recorded black unemployment rate, and that's a good thing. But it's still much higher than the 3.7% unemployment rate for white people. Okay? CNN reported that white unemployment was consistently averaged about half of black unemployment rate, and that gap hasn't changed much over the years. And as you can see here, you see where black unemployment rate is? And yes, it was dropping, right? It's been going down since when? Since around 2008, right? Everyone went up. Everyone went up in 2008 around the recession. And as you can see, everyone's been dropping. We've both been dropping. Both black folks and white folks have been dropping since 2008. Okay? Now, here you'll see this distance between the two is only slightly changed, if at all. Okay? You see it at its widest during the recession. And it's starting to get a little closer. But that's what I want to point out to people. Okay? Researchers looking at the unemployment gap have pointed out a number of factors driving the numbers, ranging from a lack of access to educational opportunities to a higher rate of incarceration. Now, I'm bringing up these numbers because people are saying, well, Tim, less black folks are unemployed. And I want to push back on that initially and just tell you, first of all, unemployment rates count those people who are no longer reporting or no longer receiving unemployment compensation. All right, so let's make that clear, because for some reason that gets lost in the sauce. Unemployment rate, right, are based on numbers of people who are collecting unemployment. So if you're not collecting unemployment, you're not counted. That's one reason why the numbers look so good. It's not because you're doing better necessarily, right? Not necessarily. It could just be that you stop getting unemployment checks, right? So once your benefits in, you're not counted in the numbers anymore. But back to this picture here. Racial unemployment gap widens. Okay? That's the number we're looking at. Wouldn't we want all Americans to be doing about the same? Right? As far as employment, we're not getting closer. And you can see it, looking at the picture once again, let me go back to it a second. You can see it was wide under Obama. I am not giving the Obama administration a pass on that. But what good is it for me to champion for something with a president who's not even in office anymore? This must be addressed now. There are families suffering now. There are people who need jobs now who happen to be black Americans who are, as you can see, once again, in the gap. All right. So let's move on because we got other stuff to talk about. Let's look at, so people say, okay, Tim, so we get it. We understand what you're saying, all right? Let's look at the gap of pay. Let's look at hourly pay. All right? Now, this slide here, this is from, I should have a list of where these numbers actually come from. The Center for Global Development, okay? The Center for Global Development. Now, this slide is from the Economic Policy Institute. The most current data is from 2015. But this is all we have to go on. This is retirement savings, Tim Black. That's bad, too. Let's jump to retirement savings, and what the hell? Retirement. White families are far more likely to have money put away in retirement savings accounts. 65% of white households have such accounts, versus only 40% of black households. The Economic Policy Institute found an analysis of a 2013 survey of consumer finance data among those who have savings. The median balances for black And Hispanic families, both 22,000, lag far behind the 73,000 put away by the median white family. Okay? I take no joy in doing this, but we've got to have this conversation. I mean, you do want to know the actual reality instead of just what Trump said, right? We actually are in this not to clap for Trump and go, ooh, Trump's better. See, I told you, and to, deepen your belief that you are right. But do you actually care about black people, right? Well, if that's the case, maybe you be concerned. Maybe you care that white people definitely are better shape in retiring. Well, I'm sorry, white folks are definitely better off when it comes to retirement savings than black folks. That should matter to you because, once again, you just want truth, right? You're not here to uphold a candidate or uphold your president when we had these problems going on. Let's move to the next slide. I got a few, as you can see. So that's one, okay? That's two. Where's that pay gap? There we go, hourly wage. Let's talk about that. Because a lot of people were talking about that. Once again, these are not my numbers. I'm not making them up. They're from an institute that does these surveys, that do these studies, okay? The pay gap between white and black workers actually widened in 2015, the last year they were measured. That gap reached 26.7, up from 18.1 in 79. White workers making $25.22 an hour on average, while black workers make $18.49. We found that the racial wage gaps are growing primarily due to discrimination, along with rising inequality in general, says Rutgers University economist William M. Rogers III, one of the authors of the report. Pay gap. That means people are taking home less money than other people, based on many factors probably, but we're looking at race. Because Trump made it about race. He said black unemployment at record highs. Well, the black unemployment rate at a record low, I'm sorry. Lowest has ever been in history. So, yeah, some of us, according to Trump, and according to reality is, of the people that are still, receiving pay, because a lot of people are out of the job market, started doing gig jobs or picking up work where they can. But these people are taking home less money than their white counterparts. I'm waiting for a Me Too movement for this. None? Just saying. I mean, we care about black folks, right? And so let's go to the next thing, because we're all Americans. And, when they said USA at the end and they were saying USA, they meant everybody, right? All right. Just something I want to point out, because I'm hearing too much rhetoric out there. Too much talk, no numbers. What else do we have? Let's look at student loan debt. Over the last couple of decades, the student debt gap between black and white college graduates has ballooned. Blacks who graduated with bachelor's degrees owed $52,726 on student loans 4 years later. That's on average, compared with $28,000 among whites. According to a recent Brookings Institute study that looked at graduates, there are a variety of reasons, including additional debt taken on for graduate programs, but the gap is nonetheless more than 13 times the disparity found in similar analysis of 1993 grads. This is a problem. This is a problem. It's not about beating up on Trump. If you think if Obama was in the office or if Kamala Harris was in the office, either one of them, that I wouldn't care. I wouldn't want that changed. Or some of you who just want decency for all Americans. You want everybody to do well, right? It's an assault to our intelligence, and it's an assault to our character for you to say this is about Trump. Trump happens to be president. He don't control everything. But he could do an executive order that could help. He's done many executive orders. Right? He just signed another executive order. What was it? Executive order, was it on immigration? He just signed another executive order. I forget what it was about. He signed so many executive orders. He talked about the HBCUs. I stupidly did a video because he was talking about helping HBCUs. And I criticized Obama because I don't think he did enough for HBCUs. Do your research. Do a search about Obama and HBCUs. There was a lot of criticism of Obama. It didn't make MSNBC that much or CNN, but it was made. All right. Once again, I'm not showing these numbers to make people feel hopeless. I'm showing you these numbers because it's reality. What you don't measure, you can't change. Want to change something? You got to know where you are. Homeownership. Black Americans are less likely to own their own homes, or more unlikely to own their own homes than whites. And so, this is due to an outgrowth of other disadvantages, including lower overall education levels and lower incomes, according to the Trulia chief economist Ralph McLaughlin. But housing is also its own form of privilege that tends to perpetuate itself across generations. Controlling for other factors, those whose parents own their own homes are nearly 3 times more likely to become homeowners themselves. This is according to McLaughlin. Another factor that puts black would-be homeowners at a disadvantage. I'm not suggesting that this was not a problem under Obama. What I'm telling you, what I'm showing you, is this is a problem now. And this is our time to stand up for it. All of us. Don't tell me you are liberal if you don't care about this. Don't tell me what I should care about or what I need to be quiet about when we have this going on. If that number were white folks, you'd be in the streets. And I'm not saying you personally, but white people would be in the streets pissed off, and they should be, as should we. One statistic, that being unemployment rate, which can be fudged, does not make the world a different place. All right? Come on, I got more slides. In fact, I have the most damaging of slides right here. At least the most heartbreaking. This one. Infant mortality rate. While U.S. infant mortality rates have declined across the board, black infants still have more than twice the mortality rate of white infants, according to the data from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Among the factors singled out, African Americans die of sudden infant death syndrome at twice the rate of whites, and African American mothers are more than twice as likely as whites to not get prenatal care or to begin it in the 3rd trimester of pregnancy. A lot of this are economic factors. Lack of access to resources. Now, there's been studies done. We've talked about them on this show. When we were in Portland, Lee Camp and I, part of his set is he talked about if you're a black college graduate and you have a black-sounding name, you're 50% less likely to be called back first for a job interview. That's what systemic racism is. In fact, every slide I showed you was systemic racism related. Go ahead again and tell me how I should be clapping and jumping up and down because Trump said the unemployment numbers are at historic lows. I didn't jump when Obama said it. I ain't jumping now. A lot of people jumped when Obama said it who knew better. I'm not picking on people who didn't know. This is for the people that do know who shut up about it, who keep quiet because it's unpopular, or people who know or who don't want to know, I should say, who don't want to know. because you ain't going to get a lot of subscribers telling the truth about the black situation in the United States. Not under Trump. Because a lot of Trump supporters, not all of them, some of them are good people, like Trump would say. Some are very good people. Others don't want to hear about black problems because they're black problems. They're not USA problems. It's like we're in another world almost. There's no pleasure in doing this. But I've been called out on a couple of my videos, on my latest video, because I didn't jump up and down because Trump said, ooh, unemployment rates. And for some reason, white so-called liberal folks, not so many conservatives, but some, don't me get me wrong, there's a lot of conservatives too. You should be happy. Look at the unemployment rate for blacks. As if that's the only issue I care about. I care about a lot of other issues, like all the other issues that were on that I've just shared with you. Let me show you something else I found very interesting, guys. I mean, since we just talking, since we just talking and having a conversation and, we're going over, how great Trump's doing, and you're rubbing it in the face and saying, hey, it's great. Let's look at his policy about immigration. And I just want to point this out because, hey, we here. We're here. Donald Trump has repeatedly assured the American public he's not a racist. But if you look at these immigration proposals, look at the numbers here, look who's getting cut from immigration. Who's getting cut the most from immigration? You don't hear much talk about it, but black folks are. Black folks, well, people from African countries, 63.9%. Who's getting cut the least? White folks, Asians. I don't know. I don't know if that makes them racist, but I just thought it was an interesting statistic. Homeownership. Hourly rate, hourly wage. Retirement savings. All important stuff. Infant death. So yeah, we can have these conversations and we can have real conversations, or we can have made-up conversations perpetuated by Fox News and Breitbart and other websites I don't even know, who basically regurgitate what was said on Fox News and Breitbart. I don't tell you this to make you want to become a Democrat. I tell you this to make you want to become active. I tell you this because the conversation about our issues, black issues, have become muddled in bipartisan, or I should say partisan bickering over who got small hands, who said what about football players. This ain't about who's called what players, about standing for the national anthem. This is about real stuff. This ain't about dissing someone on the mic. This is about people's lives, American lives. We should all be concerned. I know a lot of people out there are. Now you have the information. Now you know the data. Now you know why there ain't much to be clapping about if you happen to be black and you fall into these groups. It's not everyone. It's not everyone. Some people doing okay. In fact, truth be told, I talked to my mom today, and she's 72 years old. She told me her and my stepdad, well, they've been together since I was 2, so he's my dad for real, for real. He told me they did their taxes, and they got back more money than they've gotten probably in 20 years. They were very happy. They got a tax break. That's great. I'm happy for them. I'm happy, but they own a home. Poor people, a lot of them don't own homes. They won't get that same tax break. All right? But that's credit where credit is due. Now, Trump does the infrastructure plan, if he can do it, because it's not just dependent on him. He has to get investment from states. He has to get investment from private industry. It's going to take a lot to get that infrastructure deal done. My thing is, it's okay if you say, I just want to get clicks and views and I want to grow my following on Facebook. It's okay if you just want your website to blow up and you see a wave that you can ride while Trump is in office. Don't do it on the backs of the most disenfranchised people historically next to Native Americans in this country. Don't do it. You can sell out. Don't use me to do it. Don't use people who look like me to do it. And black folks. We got to get something for our votes. And if your candidate is afraid to talk about the issues I just laid out to you, then they ain't worth your vote. They shouldn't have it. They don't deserve it. I think we can leave it there. I'm Tim Black for TBTV. I come to you with the truth. I'm not a Democrat. I'm also not a Republican. I Dem-exited. My gag flex kept engaging when I saw what the Democrats were doing. Empty promises and platitudes aren't going to get it done for us. They never have. We need real policies, people with real backbone, and we need to be real active if we want real change. Thank you for your time. Also, I'd like to mention, I got a new DVD out. It's called We Got 99 Problems, but Trump's Just One. Because this ain't just about Donald Trump. Like I said, a lot of these problems existed in fact, all the problems, every problem I just listed to you existed before Donald Trump. But I thought he was supposed to be my president too. I should be able to nudge him my way to help make the lives better of my children, my children's children, my cousins, my nephews, my neighbors better, just like you want to. All right, guys, I'm out. Check the link description for access to that DVD. And email me anytime at tim@timblacktv.com. I look forward to hearing from you. Don't let nobody take your cornbread, folks. We'll talk soon. See, no one has balls. No one has the balls to say the real deal.
Black word today.
Yes, y'all is the one and only. Get up.
You are poor.
Hello, everybody.
Black word today.
Check this out, son. Hold up.
Why can't we pick our own colors?
No way, no way. Tried it once, it doesn't work. You get four guys all fighting over who's gonna be Mr. Black.
I got you stuck off the realness.